Okay, in our last video, we gave the player the ability to shoot enemies and shoot asteroids. So this video, let's return the favor and let's give the enemy the chance to shoot at the player. Half the battle, or most of the battle, is actually already taken care of. The idea that the enemy can turn towards the player is he's already doing the aiming, so we're all set on that. All we have to do is instantiate bullets by the enemy object here. So we have the enemy object, and I've already set up some scripts in here. And basically it's just the same as the bullet code from the player. It instantiates a bullet at the position and rotation of the enemy, and then it adds a force in that direction, and then a second later, the bullet disappears. Now the additional thing is, in here, it also invokes the shoot routine again. So it recursively calls the shoot routine. So every 1.5 to 2.5 seconds, because I have it being invoked, 1.5f plus random dot value, which is going to be 0 to 1. So every 1.5 to 2 seconds, it's going to shoot at the player. So let's see how that happens. All right, now you also needed to, there's some extra stuff in here we're just going to delete. You have to pass it a bullet prefab so it knows how to make bullets. And what we're going to do is we have a bullet which looks an awful lot like the player bullet. So here's the player bullet, right? And then here's the enemy bullet. It uses that bullet physics script, or actually, let's see, do we have any script in there right now? Oh, I see. So I added, there is a bullet physics script in here that both the player's bullet and the enemy's bullet uses. And the only thing it really does is it uses the wrap function so that bullets, when they fly off one edge of the screen, they reappear on the other edge of the screen. So that is really terrifying. You have to be careful or else you get shot from the other side of the screen. I'll show you how that looks. Okay. So, whoops. The enemy is shooting bullets, but nothing happens when we get hit by them just yet. It does a pretty good job. Whoop. Wow, there it ricocheted off of an asteroid. Really got to watch out for that. All right, now I shot the enemy. Now, that brings up a question, though. We probably want more enemies to appear, and maybe even have multiple enemies at the same time. So the way we're going to do that is let's look at the code in the player, which is where most of our code, our main code, is going to do. So what we'll do, we'll start here, and we were just instantiating an enemy right there. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to say, cut that out, and I'm going to have a function called void spawn enemy. Okay, and that is going to do this spawning of this enemy prefab. And we should probably make it randomly show up somewhere. So what we'll do is we'll say new vector, not vector, vector 2, whoops, 2, and we'll generate a random position for it. We'll say random and range. It's going to be X, it's going to be between -8 and 8. And for Y, it's going to be dot range, whoops, -5 to 5. And then for the quaternion, for the rotation, we're just going to give it the identity quaternion. This way it's not going to be rotated to start off pointing straight up, and then it will rotate to find the player anyway. Okay. So, is that, whoops, I probably need another parentheses there. But why didn't that add a parentheses? There we go. All right, everything's good now. So spawn enemy. So in here, the first thing what we will do is we will say spawn enemy. Okay, it's spawning an enemy. And also what we'll do, after we spawn an enemy, we will invoke spawn enemy again. You know what? Let's do this up here even. We'll say invoke spawn enemy and we're going to give it some time before it spawns so that you don't immediately have an enemy on the screen. We'll say after 3 seconds, the enemy will appear, and you'll have to deal with the enemy. And we will do the same thing. So recursively call the enemy routine, and we'll add a little bit of variety in here. We'll say random.value. So the enemy will appear anywhere from 3 to 4 seconds after one another. So we have a constant parade of new enemies. Vector2 does not contain a constructor that has 3 arguments. What did I do wrong here? That should have been there. Much better. Random range there. Whoops. No, Siri, don't help me. Okay. That should now be good to go. So let's see what happens. Oops. Two. An extra one there? Yeah, no, I do have an extra one there. Okay, now. Here we go. No enemy yet. There it was. Oh, wow, that one came right on top of the other one. So we have random enemies popping up all over the place. And even if we shoot that last asteroid, more enemies will keep shooting up. All right, now the enemy is shooting at us, but nothing is happening when it hits us. We should probably make ourselves blow up just like the enemy blows up. All right, now the way we're going to do that is a little bit different because we really don't want to destroy the player object, right? Did I change any of this? Not yet. Okay, so in rocket physics, we're going to say, okay, oh wait, this should be hurting us here. So what should be happening is if we are hit by anything other than a player bullet, so we can't shoot ourselves, we're going to destroy the thing we collided with, and we're going to basically hide the player, okay? We're going to hide the player by turning off the sprite renderer, and we're going to set the variable called respawning to true. And respawning is just going to make us, when that's true, it's going to make us sort of invulnerable. We're never going to be killed by anything else right here, right? If respawning return, so we're not going to get destroyed again, or we're not going to get turned off again. And then 3 seconds later, we're going to call respawn player, and it's going to check based on number of lives. So we have a integer here. That's the number of lives that we have. That's going to get decremented, and as long as it's greater than 0, it will re-enable the player sprite renderer and set respawning to false. Now, if we do run out of lives, we're just going to get something saying you ran out of lives. So the problem right now is that the enemy, let's open up the enemy prefab, is using enemy bullet, and enemy bullet, oh, the tag is set to enemy bullet. It's on the layer enemy bullets. So what's happening? Why aren't we getting killed? Maybe it's because respawning is true. Is that happening? Let's see. Respawning was set to true, and everything starts happening. Respawning should be set to false. Okay. So once we're going, respawning is false, and now it should be able to blow up the player character, the little player rocket here now. So no, not happening. Did I not save? No. On collision, enter 2D. Respawning. Oh, if it does not equal player bullet. So if it did not equal player bullet, so in other words, if it gets hit by a enemy bullet, or it gets hit by an asteroid, it will blow up. Getting hit by a player bullet. Why would that happen? That was silly. Must have been some cutting and pasting. All right. Boom. And there we are again. Whoop. And we get shot by shot by the bad guy there. Now, that's an interesting one. Whoop. It so happens, you'll notice the player, when it's not visible, it's still able to shoot, which we probably shouldn't be allowed to do. So here's where that respawning comes in. That gets important. So what should happen is, if respawning we should just return from the update and not do any of our fire routines. So none of those should happen, right? We'll do that after the transform there. Okay. So we're not allowed to shoot anymore while that's going on. Okay. And let's see, what else should we not allow? I think we're good. Save that. Now, one weird thing that's going to happen is you'll notice that the enemies still know where we are, even though we can't be seen, right? So that's kind of a weird thing. Ready? Still knows where we are, even though we can't even see ourselves. Now, in order to not allow it to kind of cloak ourselves so it really can't see us, what we probably want to do is make this respawning something that everybody can see. Okay, so we're going to make that public. Okay, and we're going to make it public static. Oops. All right. And now if we go over to, where are we? Enemy. We can say if player dot respawning. Oh, why can't we see that? Did I not save it? Public static bool respawning false. Well, I might be, let's do this. Let's save this real quick. Because it's saying solution is already open, I must have opened something up once too many times, and that kind of messes up some of the intelligent features that Visual Studio knows about. So let's get back to that. Reopen that and look in. Don't want to do the update just now. Enemy. Of course, that's all messed up. If player dot oh, I shouldn't be calling it that way. If rocket physics dot respawning, that's what I should be doing. Sorry. Rocket physics dot respawning equal. Well, I can do this. Yeah. If that's true, return. Meaning, don't do anything. And let's see. So what we'll do is we will do these parts. I'm going to do it another way. I'm going to say if not that. I'm going to do that. There we go. Whoops. Okay. So that means if I am not respawning, I will come up with a new transform.up. And otherwise, I'm just going to go around, do the right thing. Okay. All right. And I think I'm going to slow this guy down a little bit. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of this altogether. Since this is basically being used as a constant force, let's get rid of that constant force right there. And let's add a constant force in here. Okay. So add component, physics 2D. Let's see, constant force 2D. We're going to go with a relative force because we always want it to be in the y direction. I'm going to say a relative force of 2. Okay. And this way, okay, now they know about us. Wow. They know us a little too well here. And they shoot a little too fast. Let's do something to slow down those bullets, shall we? Okay, so the enemy bullet, we're going to add some mass to the enemy bullet. So if we add 10 times the mass by doing that, you will notice that the enemy bullets will slow down because they're going to eat up more force as they're, or require more force to. Come on. Let's see. Yeah, they're going really slow. They can barely escape the rocket. All right, maybe that's too slow. So let's make the force on that bullet. Where'd it go? Enemy, no, enemy bullet. Body 2D. What am I slowing down? I increased the mass on the bullet when I meant to increase the mass on the player, I think, didn't I? What did I mean to do there? All right, well, let's slow down the bullets anyway. At least now they'll be twice as slow. They're getting really too ridiculously slow there. It's still pretty good. Feisty little guys. Ooh. You know what? I think a couple of things are happening. I think these, first off, some weird stuff. Let's take care of a couple of things. The enemy bullets are on the enemy bullets layer, right? And I think there's some interaction going on between the enemy bullets and the enemies. So let's go to project settings, physics 2D, and enemies and enemy bullets. Okay, they're not interacting with one another, so they shouldn't have any problems. Okay, as long as the enemies are on the enemy layer. Let's double check that. Oh, that's the problem. Let's put the enemies on the enemy layer. Okay, now the bullets, the enemy bullets should be a little bit less weird. Let's just blow up all our asteroids here. Blow up the player. Blow up the enemy, I should say. Yeah, now it looks pretty normal. But I think I think they show up a little too fast. So let's go back to the script and make them show up a lot less often. Where's our respawn? Spawn enemy 3 plus random value. We're gonna make that. Is it really 3 and then another one every 3? That shouldn't be that often. Maybe 5. So every 5 seconds. Oh, didn't want to do that. Do that. 4, 5. Let's see, there's another one. And if we wait too long, another one will show up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, there's another one. All right. Now, yeah, if you wait too long, more and more enemies will show up. One thing we haven't done, though, that you might want to do is when the player respawns, what's going to happen is, let's see, the player is not going to collide when it hits anything, so that's good. So that takes care of us not blowing up. And it's going to push us away from any other object there. So I guess we're pretty good. We may show up really close to an enemy, but we're not going to show up right on top of it because the physics will push us away and respawning will keep us from blowing up. All right, I'm going to stop this video right there and put it up on the internet. Enjoy. And maybe next time we'll start getting into some more features. Pretty soon we got to talk about how to do the waves of... Well, okay, one more thing before we go. All right. Number of asteroids. Let's do that. Okay. Int. Number of asteroids equals, we'll start off with 4. And here it is. Number of asteroids. So let's take this and we're going to call this void spawn asteroid field. Okay. And it's going to be the number of asteroids. So it calls that the first time. Where's it calling that? I'll call it right up here. Call it right away. Spawn asteroid field. And now what we want to do is have it so that whenever all of the asteroids are destroyed, we're going to spawn a new asteroid field, right? So first thing what we're going to do is inside of here, we're going to change number of asteroids plus equals a random range. No, actually, we can just use random value times 4. Okay. There. So every time we call this, it'll generate the number that we use, the number we generated last time. So first time in, it's going to just be 4. Next time it's going to be 4 plus up to another 4. And then so on and so on and so on. So we're going to keep on increasing the number of asteroids. But when should this get called? This should get called whenever an asteroid blows up. We should check to see if the number of asteroids is 0, right? So we'll let everybody know about that number of asteroids. Save that. And inside of asteroids, let's see. Make sure here. Because if the player collides with an asteroid, that's where we should. So here, we'll do it in a couple ways. We'll say if oh, well, that's, okay. If number of, do this right, number of asteroids is less than or equal to 0, do all this stuff, right? So this is actually going to be sort of check to spawn asteroid field. Check spawn asteroid field if necessary. Okay. And that will also be a static. And well, can we do that? Sure, we could do that. It's a little bit tricky. Let's just do this, because we can just have it check that all the time, right? Because number of asteroids we know about. So that's, yeah, we'll do that. So spawn asteroid field if necessary. It's a long function name. And just in our update function, we'll just say spawn asteroid field if necessary. Where'd it go? Yeah. Okay. So if we have no more asteroids, we're gonna generate more asteroids. All right. So where will we be destroying asteroids? Well, this is checking to see if we have collided with anything. So we might want to say here, if collision dot tag collision dot game object dot tag equals asteroid, then we could say respawn spawn asteroid field if necessary. Okay. Let's double check to make sure. Well, let's do it there before we destroy that game object. Okay. Well, no, we can do that. Let's just, let's be careful here, okay? We want to say bool let's call it that, equals false. And we'll do this. Tag object, or object tag is even better. There. Now, why am I doing that, you ask? Because what I might do down here is I've already destroyed that game object. And just in case, now I might want to do the last thing I'm going to do in here. If tag equals asteroid, then I'm going to spawn asteroid field if necessary. Come on. There. So now I know if I collide with an asteroid, it's going to get rid of that asteroid. And if it was an asteroid, then I know to respawn a new asteroid field. Let me make sure that this has the tag asteroid. Yes, it does. And okay, so if I collide with an asteroid, I'm going to say number of asteroids minus, is that right? Because this was checking all the time. Don't want to have that. Okay, if number of asteroids less than or equal to 0, do that. Okay. Important. So there, I know I've hit an asteroid there. Call that. Okay, whoops. All right, and the other place I want to call that is in my asteroid prefabs code. So there, oh, actually I just do this. Silly me. Because the update's going to check that all the time. Right there, spawn asteroid if necessary. So let's look at my asteroid functions. And that's going to say if I hit a player bullet. Okay, so number of asteroids will be in rocket physics dot number of asteroids minus, because here's me destroying an asteroid. Okay, let's see if that works. I don't have any asteroids. What happened? I know what happened. Up here, when I called spawn asteroid field if necessary, it didn't think it was necessary to spawn an asteroid field because it was 0. That's gonna not work out too well, is it? I have to do this. I have to have that right there. Okay. So this is going to add, it's going to start off, it may have 0 asteroids. So I'm going to get random range. Yeah. Random range. And we're going to give it basically 1, 2, 4. So the first time around, we will have somewhere between 1 and 4 asteroids. Okay? 1 to 4 asteroids. The next time, we will add 1 to 4 to that number. That's 1 to 4. That'll work. You know, I amaze myself sometimes. That needs to be 0 for starters. All right, we have 1 asteroid. Boom. Oh, we got 3 asteroids. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, we got 2 asteroids. 3, 2, 1, 1, 3. Interesting. Why is it not adding? Did I goof? Number of asteroids plus equals, oh, that counts down. You know what I want to do? This is what I really wanted to do. I need to have 2 things. I need to have a number of asteroids that is saying, oh, well, I'm going to keep track of something called level. That's what I'm going to do. So we're going to start off at level 1. And then every time this hits 0, we're going to say level plus equal level plus plus. Okay, so we'll start at actually level 0. And we will increase that, and then we'll actually add this times level. So we'll actually just say that equals level. Okay? Yeah, that'll be better. So now as that level goes up, we're going to have 1 to 4 times that. So like level 3, we may have up to 12 on level 3. Level 4 could have up to 16, but it might also have 4. So it'll be random. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll never have, well, we might have fewer. So that's 3 for that time. Ah, destroyed. Whoops. All right. I'm out of lives. No more lives. Okay. So the basic game is kind of taking shape. I think, did I notice that the enemy was still shooting at us? Yeah. Okay. So what we should also say here is, not only should the enemy not lock in on us, but it also should not shoot at us if we are respawning. Because that's a terrible thing. It should not lock on us. It should not shoot at us while we are respawning. I knew something was kind of vicious there. Wow. Yeah, the game is pretty tough at this point, but this is the idea. I think you can see what you need to do is start randomizing the position that the asteroids kind of show up in. Not a bad thing. Now, for some reason, it thinks that there are still asteroids left. I've got a bug in there somewhere, but you get the idea. Okay. Until the next time, good luck.